Hello, my name is Faris. Today I'm going to talk about the history of coffee. Uh, since coffee is most preferred beverage in the morning by people nowadays, and they only recognize roasted coffee beans, is where it's come from. So, coffee, according to the article "What is Coffee" by NCA USA, National Coffee Association of USA, that coffee comes from a tree that can grow up to 30 feet tall and covered with the dark with sea green leaves, and the coffee cherries grow up to the branches. The coffee trees can live in soil rich and mild temperature and have about 6,000 species around the world. And there are two species that commonly used in commercial industry, known as Arabica and Conifera. They are well known as Robusta. The story begins when the Ethiopian highlands, where a legendary Kaldi lived, the goat herd. He noticed about the coffee when his goats eat cherries from a certain trees and got too energetic that cannot sleep in the night. And Kaldi reported to the abbot of the local monastery, and he said also that he keep him long evening prayer. And the abbot of monastery spread the stories about the energetic cherries around the community. From the article "The Story of Coffee" by International Coffee Club, said that the first place that cultivate the coffee is Arabian Peninsula in 15th century in the Yamani district. In 16th century, the coffee starts to enter Persia, Egypt, Syria, and Turkey. During that time, the coffee not only drank at home, they also drank at the coffee houses known as kahvekhane, which began to appear in cities across the Near East. They used coffee in social activity like in conversations, when watching performance, and sometimes when listening to music. The coffee houses known at the time as School of Wise. And in 17th century, the travelers brought back stories of black beverage to the Europe and began to spread to England, Austria, France, Germany, and Holland. The coffee houses becomes more center of social activities, and in the mid 17th century, there are 300 coffee houses in London, and many businesses grew up from a coffee house, like Lloyd's of London, that grew up from an Edward Lloyd's coffee house. And in mid 16th century, the coffee brought to New York coffee houses rapidly appears, but the tea still be a favorite drink for the people in that community until 1773, when colonies revolted when the King George imposed a high tax on tea and caused a Boston Tea Party, and fortunately changed the favor of the people from the tea to coffee. And during that time, it begins the competition of cultivation coffee outside from the Arabia, and Dutch is the first one that did that and succeeds. They succeed to receive the seedlings, and they cultivate in India, but at first they fail, and they move to the island of Java, known as Indonesia today, and it succeeds. They spread the coffee trees to the island of Sumatra and Celebes. And also, however, Dutch did the unexpected things when in 1714, Mayor of Amsterdam presented a young plant of coffee to the King Louis of 14 of French, and the king ordered it to plant in the royal garden. And the seedlings of king's plant began to expand by Gabriel de Clio to the island of Martinique, and by after 50 years, it have around 18 millions of coffee trees in the island of Martinique. It also reported that the coffee did arrive in Brazil by Francisco de Melo Palheta. It begins when the empress told him to go to French Guiana, and the governess, the French governor's wife, gave him seedlings in the bouquet of flowers, and that starts of the plantation of coffee around the world. After 100 years, coffee established as a well crop commodity throughout the world, and the missionaries, travelers, traders, and colonies continue to plant the coffee throughout the world. And in the 18th century, the most profitable crop is coffee itself. From the article, the caffeinity of history of coffee said that written by Abitory in www.pbs.org, said that coffee is valuable, legally traded commodity. We love it, we rely on it, and we drink it in massive quantities. 2.25 billion cups of coffee consumed by people around the world in a day, 7 times for people in New York. And we can see Starbucks now everywhere in Manhattan. And from the article International Coffee Club, the story of coffee said that the coffee is a crucial economics and politics of the developed country, as well as this developed country, because 50% earnings from foreign exchange. This is how the coffee affects the world's economics, begins from the 15th century of the cultivation and trade up until now as the first number one of preference beverage of people. I think it's all. Thank you.